Hello everyone, it's Cowabunga here, and I was just about to record a Fraymakers video, and I was going to go off a suggestion that I got on Twitter. I asked, since the Fray Tools video that I made for Fraymakers a couple months ago has been doing so well recently, I asked, what other Fraymakers content would you guys like to see, and Crazy Stranger on Twitter told me that I should, predict a couple things about Fraymakers, like, when is early access coming out? What do you think the unannounced character and stage and assists will be for early access? And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. I should do that. So here I am. I'm done watching a show. Wrestling show, AEW, because I like wrestling. I go down here in my little room to record, and I see that there is an update on the Fraymakers Kickstarter page, and now I'm like, oh, some of these things are going to be answered. So I might still talk about a lot of things that I was going to talk about, but at this point, this is basically going to be my live reaction to the news that we're going to get within this update here. So let's just get straight into it, man, because I am so glad that I've been as busy as I have been, because the timing for me honestly could not have been any more perfect. But now I have to have no script and kind of just tell you guys what's going on here and react with you guys. So yeah, let's just read what's up here and we'll go from there. Hi everyone. With 2022 well underway, we wanted to give you a more detailed update on Fraymakers Development, including what we've finished so far and what we're still working on, and when we're expecting to get it done. Let's get to it. Updated release roadmap. When we launched the Fraymakers Kickstarter campaign, we estimated that we would be able to release early access in early 2022. At the time, this was our best estimate for how long it would take based on how long it took us to finish the work we've done so far. Unfortunately, at this point we need to ask for a bit more time. We did absolutely everything we could to avoid having to push things back. Trust us, we want Fraymakers in your hands as badly as you do. But we've ended up needing significantly more time for our online implementation than we anticipated. This has ultimately resulted in our original timeline becoming unfeasible without major crunch. We'll go into more specifics on the stuff that took longer than expected in the Rollback netcode section below, but to start with, here's our adjusted general timeline for the next few milestones. Oh boy. If you've been following Fraymakers very closely, like me and some other people in the Cloud Gaming Discord, we've had talks about what we think is going to happen with Fraymakers, and it's either been, this game is probably going to get delayed, and we suspect this because through the Saturday frays that have been happening on Twitter and Instagram, on the Fraymakers accounts on those social media platforms. Fraymakers has been showing screenshots and footage and music, among other things, on their social media every Saturday for ever since like the summer of 2021. And we've noticed that there's been a lot of music shown off, and that's great. There's a new stage showing off, that's really cool. But things were progressing slower than we thought. And my impression was that, they haven't said anything about, delaying the game. They said that they were going to be transparent with us if there was going to be like a delay. And I was of the impression that instead of the game getting delayed, I figured maybe, well, they don't have too much to show off at this point. Just a couple more of like Octodad's moves maybe. They've got the 4th unrevealed early access character. They've got the 5th stage still not shown off. They've got like 3 assists they haven't shown off yet. All these things could theoretically be shown off in maybe like a presentation video, kind of like, Sakurai does with Smash Brothers, where he'll kind of show off a character and then he'll show off their stage and then he'll, throw some extra stuff in there, like the Mii costumes. So I guess in this case the Mii costumes would be the assists. That's what I was thinking would happen, and that was just me being, a bit more optimistic. But obviously the game being delayed mainly for the rollback netcode, that's not surprising at all. So we'll continue on here. We'll learn more about that as we go here. So the tester build launch will be in June/July of 2022. That makes me happy because I know that's around my birthday. If it comes out in late June, oh my god. Team Fray, you listening? Release it on June 26th. Do it. Anyway. Our expectation is that this is the time frame by which we'll be able to make sure our core features, including rollback netcode and free tools, are in a stable enough state to facilitate useful testing. At the launch of the tester build, there will likely be a few bits of content missing and some polish left to do. We want to make sure that we still have room to incorporate tester feedback before early access launch. We expect to gradually incorporate the remaining early access content as the tester build continues. Yeah, another reason why people thought this game was going to get delayed, because we thought for sure by now that we would get tester builds. Like, it was very weird that we're into the month of February now, right? And even in January we thought like, man, we probably should have gotten the tester builds by now, right? And yes, I bought the tester build tier during the Kickstarter, so I will have access to the tester builds. This delay kind of throws things into a loop just a little bit, because I was definitely, working on Sans. That's who I'm making first for this game. And, after some consideration, I was like, man, I'm definitely not going to get Sans done by the time early access comes out. And I decided because of that, let's just take a break from Sans. Let's work on some other stuff. Like, most recently I've been working on his stage that I want to make with him along with his release, Snowed in Town. And that's been fun. I decided, I still really want to make a character when tester builds do eventually come out. So I wanted to, make sort of like a sprite rip character, and I was gonna make an announcement on stream who that was gonna be. Now I just don't know if I am gonna do that. I know for sure that now the possibility of getting most of Sans' animations completed by early access is now completely possible again, because I got half of his animations done in about 3 months. So as long as I can, somehow work on something every single day here, I might be able to get most of his animations done. So we'll see. That's certainly a possibility. I still want to make the sprite rip character, but at the end of the day, that's more for practice, and I don't expect that to take that long to fully implement that character. So let's just move on. Enough about me. I'm sure by now you've read all this text while I've been talking, but let me say what's going on anyway. Early access launch August of 2022. As noted on our Kickstarter campaign, Fraymakers will feature the following content at launch: 4 characters, 5 stages, 20 assists, Rollback netcode online, and Fray tools. We're still planning on sticking to the structure. Note that under some circumstances this launch window may be subject to change based on tester feedback. We've done everything we could on our end to be reasonably confident in this release window, but if we uncover any major issues with the help of our testers, or if everything goes super smoothly, we might end up needing a little more or a little less time to make sure everything's solid. Post early access launch. Once early access is launched, our next job will be to get to work on the rest of the game, From that point forward, we'll be devoting our time to build out all of the extra features that aren't going to be in early access launch, including the remaining characters, stages, assists, and pretty much anything else that's not listed above. We'll be able to create a more detailed roadmap of when we plan to implement this content early on during early access. Our plan is for Fraymakers to officially exit early access and release once all of this content has been implemented. With that out of the way, let's look at our progress so far. Characters. Before we look at our existing characters, we have some exciting news to share. We've locked in the 7th and 8th Fraymakers characters. Oh boy! We'll be finishing the 6 characters that are already confirmed first, but we're super excited about the new characters and we're pretty sure that you will be too. Yeah, I'm already excited, but I know that the announcement of the 7th and 8th characters is far, far away, so I will just be slightly excited and not overly excited and get myself all worked up here. Here's how things are going for the 4 characters who are slated for early access launch. So, Commander video is 95% implemented. Well, Taro is 85% implemented. Octodad is 70% implemented. In the early access character that hasn't been revealed yet is 55% implemented. So overall, they are about 76% done with creating all the characters for the game. Man, they've had to do 340 animations. Wait, actually, I just realized this kind of confirms how many animations are in the game, right? Just a little bit, I think. And Octodad apparently has one less thing than everybody else, but also I don't know. Yeah, that or everybody else just has 1 or 2 more things than a regular character like Octodad, but I don't know. That's interesting. That's interesting to note. So that definitely means I have half a sands of stuff done, though. I'm definitely going to go back and look at every single thing I've made because they're a bit jank. And yeah, overall, I just want to remake some stuff a little bit. Nothing crazy, but let's move on to stages. We just revealed our 4th early access stage last month. That was Pepper Pain. I'll leave some footage up on the front of your screen here, just in case if you haven't seen it. And we've been working on another stage behind the scenes that'll blow your socks off. Here's how things are progressing on our initial early access stages. The Stratosphere, or Stratostar, sorry, is 100% implemented. Backyard is 100% implemented. Merchant Port is basically 100% implemented outside of Hazard On implementation. I wonder if background visuals and having hazards on are related in any single way. I guess the good news here is that the Pepper Pain stage is basically done outside of Hazard On implementation, as well as the early access stage. It's almost done too outside of Hazard On implementation, so I think we could expect there to be an announcement on that stage pretty soon. That's pretty cool. Assists, in case you missed it, we announced that 3 of the 20 guest assists available at early access launch will be brand new characters that haven't been revealed yet. Here's how our progress is looking on the early access launch assist lineup. So, from what I can see here, 14 assists are fully implemented, while the rest of them are not in some way, shape, or form. That is interesting. Some of these, at the very least, they could maybe show off a render and a screenshot for, if they haven't already anyway. I would have to guess that Assist 17 maybe would be like, you know, the rhythm doctor. I think that's what his name was. You know, the guy who points at you. Yeah, other than that, I don't know if we're going to be getting an assist reveal anytime soon. So, that is also interesting, but they now have plenty of time to show off an assist. So, that'll be fun. They have until June to do it. So, hopefully we get to see that sooner rather than later. Rollback netcode. Oh yeah, you know what? Before I go to rollback netcode, let me just say, because this is going to be something I did within the video, let me just say who I think the early access character is going to be, as well as the early access stage, and the 3 assists that haven't been revealed yet. Let's do that real quick. Let's just take a little intermission before we get into that large paragraph that we saw under rollback netcode. For me, I said that, look, if I were Team Fray, I would want every single character in early access to be original characters, which means that I would expect the Watcher to be the 4th early access character. That's what I would expect. There are arguments for and against every single character, though. Like if you take a look at Orcane, for example, Orcane, he is from another platform fighter. He's probably easier to implement, mainly because a lot of his moveset is already made up. I just think that implementing certain things like his character-specific tech that he has in Rivals of Aether, that could be hard to implement into the game. Into the game. And I'm sure that Team Fray wants to include stuff like that. So that's one thing against Orcane. Fish Bungee kind of the same deal, except that he has air strongs, which last time when Team Fray did like this backer Q&A back, I think in, again, like the summer, pretty much 2021, I think. Either that or is in like the spring of 2021 for sure, but they said that they didn't quite know exactly how Fish Bungeon's dumbbell throw was going to be implemented, but that it was going to be implemented. So it's just that type of thing. The Watcher, again, she's like the original character, and I would expect her to be one of the characters, just seeing how the trend is going right now. But she also is a stance character, and she has more animations than anybody else, I would think, in the game. And seeing that, you know, this early access character now has 85 animations, even less than Wiltaro, now it makes me think, maybe it's not the Watcher now. I don't know. I would think, you know, bringing in Orcane would be a good idea, just because you have the Rivals of Aether community, who is already a super dedicated community when it comes to competitive play as well as modding. They're super passionate on both fronts. So to bring that community in as early as you humanly possibly can would be the best case scenario for me, I would think. But at the same time, again, I would also think that bringing in a brand new character first before, a character that's already been in another platform fighting game, I would also think that's a bit of a best case scenario. I also think that implementing Air Strong wouldn't be that hard for Fist Bungeon, and again, you can make a case for any of these characters. Now, I really don't know who it's going to be. I would still bet on the Watcher, but I'm not so sure now. As for the early access stage, I think that's definitely, no matter what, I don't even know, for sure if this is going to be the early access stage. I know for sure that we're going to get a Downwell stage, and we're probably going to get a Slay the Spire stage. And I think the one that they're probably going to show off first is a Downwell stage. And I would think, obviously you could have the Downwell stage just be the well, you can only get KO'd from the top or the bottom of the stage. But I would also like it maybe if the stage was actually, before you go down the well, where, you can sit on the bench and there's a tree there and all that good stuff. But I don't know how you would implement that without it being black and white. I think if, you went inside like the well instead, you could take some creative liberties with having the stage be dark without it being completely, black and white type of thing. So you could take some creative liberties on the outside of the well too, but I think, to stay faithful to the game as much as possible, it's probably going to take place within the well. And I still think that would be pretty fun. As for the assists, this is the fun part. I'll just try and get through them as quickly as possible, give my reasoning, and then we'll move on finally. But the first unrevealed assist I think might be Goose from Untitled Goose Game. I know that this game was just really popular back when the backer content survey was a thing. I believe that these assists are going to be like fan favorite, picked from the survey type of deal. So I think Untitled Goose, or just Goose, I don't know, has a very real chance of getting in as an assist. As for what he can do, I don't really know. Maybe he could just try and grab you and drag you around towards, the center of the assist. Something like that. He doesn't have to be very complicated. He's a goose, He could just honk at somebody too. Maybe he has like a wind box on or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think for sure he's going to be in this game no matter what. Another character that I think is going to be an assist no matter what. I think it's probably going to be a character from Enter the Gungeon. Again, another popular pick among backers for sure. And I think that a Bulletin of any kind, any variation of them, is the obvious choice. I think just doing, a regular Bulletin that maybe just fires 3 shots from a pistol would just be the best thing to do. Maybe it can aim before it fires too. I don't know. But that's how I would do that. And assist 20. This is the fun one. This is the prediction of all predictions, and it's a bit sus. Because it's the imposter from Among Us. I think if they reveal the imposter as an assist for this game before it comes out, I think it would give the game a lot of buzz. So again, if I were Team Fray, I would absolutely do that if I could. So as for what the imposter could do, I think that he could do the one kill animation where he kind of sticks out his tongue, and if he does, it can maybe cause like massive knockback and damage, or it could kind of be like a Ridley down B where it doesn't do any knockback, but it'll still do a crap ton of damage, and then it'll kind of just like make the opponent fall to the ground very slowly. So yeah, That's what I think. But now we can move on here. Now that I've gotten, you know, some of my old video in there, let's go back to our reality here. That this is the reason right here why the game has been delayed. So let's read, shall we? Rollback netcode. We've ramped up the testing of our rollback implementation over the past few months in order to optimize the online experience and iron out the bugs. We're happy to report that things are looking fantastic and online games are feeling great over a variety of connections and distances. As mentioned above, though, it took significantly more testing time than expected to iron out the kinks and get to this point. New features can often introduce elements to the game that affect rollback stability, and since Fraymakers is under heavy active development, we've had to be more meticulous with our online testing. Additionally, our initial approach to the lobby flow wasn't as scalable as we needed it to be to support our broad selection of options like modes and custom content, so we've had to redesign some of its core aspects to avoid the limitations of our first attempt. Now that we have a better design architecture in place and new feature implementation is winding down for our upcoming Kickstarter tester build milestone, a lot of our other tasks are unblocked and we are able to focus on other pressing aspects of the development without having to revisit online functionality as frequently. Since we're on the topic of rollback, we wanted to take the time to mention our delay-based netcode option for custom content. Ooh. Coding rollback-friendly content inherently requires using some of the more advanced features on our scripting system, and we want to make sure that regardless of your programming prowess, the content you create will be usable online without having to incorporate those advanced concepts. By providing a delay-based netcode option, we can allow a wider variety of unofficial content to work online without advancing coding required. Our plan is to allow FrayTool creators to specify whether or not their content is rollback safe in order to reduce the chances of other players encountering unstable content. Simpler content will likely already be rollback compatible right out of the gate, while more complex content that isn't stable yet can be flagged as such until the creator has done thorough enough testing to confirm compatibility. Yeah, that is not even something that I was considering, you know, that like, yeah, I would have to implement my character for a rollback netcode, like, because rollback kind of like predicts what the character's gonna do, and then, you know, inputs that, and then if it's wrong, then it rolls back to the actual like input. And implementing that will certainly require some coding knowledge that I just simply do not have. So that's a very welcome feature for sure. And if anybody wants to help me on the coding side for Sans, I will more than happily take the help. Yeah. And I've always said that. So that's probably what's going to happen. I think that FrayTool's characters at the end of the day are going to be collaborative no matter what, because making them by yourself is just way too hard. Already. I mean, just on an art side, it's already way too hard. Then I gotta worry about coding them. Oh no. But yeah, let's move on. FrayTools. We're still using FrayTools to develop all the content we put into Fraymakers. And we've continued to build out its features. There's still a decent amount of fine-tuning ahead of us before we can get it into your hands. This was one of the main timelines affected by netcode taking up more of our bandwidth than expected. While FrayTools is usable in its current state, it's lacking a lot of usability features and has some bugs and quirks. Based on our current schedule, we should finish the additions needed for the tester build release by April or May. Despite the fact that we still have some work to do, FrayTools has been huge for efficiency in our content workflow so far, and we're looking forward to improving it even further and ironing out any kinks that we don't catch based on your feedback during the tester and early access builds. Its interface also has been getting some huge usability upgrades, so you can expect more peaks down the line. We've already seen talented community members laying the groundwork for the FrayTools creations, and we can't wait to get it in your hands so you can bring them to life. Music. As you might have already noticed, we've been sharing a bunch of our new music from the Soul Bros, Super Soul Bros, OC Remix, and Family Jewels on our Twitter and Instagram accounts. We've heard a lot of requests for higher quality versions of the music than these platforms allow, so we decided that in addition to our social media posts, we'll be uploading all of our current and future Fraymakers tracks to our new Fraymakers YouTube channel. We'll have some more amazing music coming up soon, so head over there to the channel and subscribe. Reward survey. Since we're talking about testing early access builds, we also wanted to touch on the backer reward survey. The survey will be distributed to all backers before the tester build launch, so we can gather all the info we'll need to fulfill the rewards of your backer tier. You'll also get to choose whether you're interested in a Steam or Nintendo Switch download key for each of your copies of Fraymakers. Regardless of your choice, if you have chosen a reward that includes tester build access, you will be able to participate in the testing period via Steam. As a reminder, the Nintendo Switch version of the game will not be available until after early access development has ended and the full game is released. And as we previously noted, there may be some limitations on custom content and rollback netcode, so keep that in mind when making your selections. Kickstarter only allows us to send out one reward survey for the project, so we're making sure we include all the info we'll need before sending it out. But we'll let you know as soon as things are locked in. And that's it for updates for now. As always, you can stay in touch by keeping up to date to the latest Fraymakers news on Discord, Twitter, and Instagram. From everyone on the team, thank you for reading, and thank you so much for your patience while we do our best to make Fraymakers the best game that it can be. So there we go. Finally, through the whole thing here. My thoughts is that, I'm not mad at all about this game being delayed. I know firsthand just how hard this must be, to implement stuff like rollback netcode, which McCloud Gaming hasn't really fiddled around with before, along with making character art that's so high quality, stage art that's so high quality, assists, all these different things that they're promising. It's no surprise that the game's getting delayed. But all we can do now is wait. I'll get my Steam Deck for sure by this time, so hopefully recording the game will be as smooth as butter. But yeah, until then, I'll leave the link to the Kickstarter post in the description below. That way, if you are interested in seeing the stuff for yourself, you can. And then of course it has links to their YouTube, their Discord, their Twitter, and Instagram on there too, so if you want any of those links, you can go to the Kickstarter page and then go from there. So there we go. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.